Here we are. You know, I always want to say that. Here we are in my basement, my man cave. Hello and greetings. This is Paul. This is the very first video for atokenconservative.com. I've been doing the blog for a while now, but I figured, well, let's join the 20th century and start putting it all in video. Because this is the first time this is a video, I will briefly go over my own history, why I'm here and who I am. I'm in my mid-50s. I started out as an NDP supporter and even a candidate, and then thanks to my experience in media, I ended up learning that there is an alternative to left-wing and socialist ideology, and I grew up. So now I am a token conservative. The reason why I am a token conservative is because several years ago, a couple of election cycles ago, for the Saskatchewan provincial election, I was the news director at the radio station here in Rosetown. And the brand new Saskatchewan party, this is going back about 20 years now, was being led by the MLA for this part of the country. And he was fighting a close battle, and there was a chance that he was going to win. And if he would have won, then I would have been the news director for his home radio station for the premier. So that would have been something. He didn't win. It was a close call. But because of the fact I had that contact with the CBC a few years later, in the next election cycle, when I was no longer in radio, they called me up and they said, hey, we got this new thing, political blogging. And it was a provincial election. So they picked 5 bloggers, 2 people from Saskatoon and 2 people from Regina, and me. I was supposed to be representing the rural vote, I guess, right? So I took a look at what the other bloggers were saying on their blogs, and they were very clearly NDP and Liberal supporters. I was not. So I was the token conservative. And then you fast forward a couple more years, and I was taking a communications class with the provincial, the SIAST it was called then, and I had to start a website. And I asked my instructor, I said, can I start a blog site? And they said, sure. No one else has, but sure, if you want to start a blog site as a website, that'll qualify you for your course credit. So I started a token conservative, because I was the token conservative with the CBC in a provincial election a few years sooner. So I've worked for the CFIB as an advocate for small business owners. I come from a long line of entrepreneurial people. There's a lot of business owners in my family and so on, and I myself am a business owner right now. I have decided to start this process today because today is the day that the federal government writ was dropped. So we're looking at an election campaign over the next few weeks. The question is going to be, comes right down to it, is going to be between Stephen Harper. No, that's not right. That was 4 years ago, wasn't it? See, you would think it's about Stephen Harper, because that's who Justin Trudeau referenced more times in his introductory speech as he walked out of the Governor General's residence when the writ was dropped. And he referenced Stephen Harper twice and Andrew Scheer only once. So I kind of wonder who is actually fighting this election here, because it seems to be Justin Trudeau versus the ghost of Stephen Harper. There's a lot of problems with this, a lot of problems with Trudeau, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to get into a lot of stuff here now. There'll be other shows. There'll be, in the future, I'll get wealthy, and I'll have sponsors, and there'll be graphics, and there'll be translations if I happen to speak another language or something, which is pretty unlikely. Who knows? One thing that I'm going to try and include in all of my my blogs here is I'm going to try and include something strange and political, and typically stupid from the internet. I just heard about the writ being dropped, and I sort of made the decision to do this on the fly today. So I was scrambling for some content for this, and I decided I'm going to go with my favorite example of CBC censorship. The thing is that if you're going to make a comment online on a CBC story on their website, they don't allow comments on all stories, but some of them they do. A lot of political ones, if it's not too much of a hot topic or controversial, they allow comments. The thing is, if you're a conservative and you say something nasty about Justin Trudeau or so on and so forth, you get cut. They just pull your comment. There's no real way of fixing that. I've sent off complaints a few times saying, "Hey, what standard did I not adhere to, or what rule did I break?" Pointing out something, innocuous, or it doesn't matter if there's some bot or some staffer at CBC who is sympathetic to the Trudeau Liberals, they just pull you, and there's just no explanation. They did send me back a copy of their rules once, but it didn't explain in there what rule I had broken. They just said, "Well, here are the rules." That helps. Anyway, I figured I'd go with a comment that I made a few months ago. The story was and is the carbon tax, of course. And this one fellow was, there's been people always coming up to defend the carbon tax, like that makes any sense at all. And this one fellow said, in argument against the carbon tax, I'll just say his name is Bill, and he said that really what he just says is that it's just another big lie by the left. He used that word, lie, on a CBC story on their comment section. And I commented and I said, "Wow, how can you get away with that? How are you getting away with using that word? The word referring to telling an untruth. Every time I use that, the CBC pulls it. They pull my comment. How are you getting away with this?" I never got a response from him because he never saw it, because the CBC pulled my comment. Yeah. Anyway, that's my initial try at blogging on a political blog here, and down the road I'll have some more, and hopefully I'll see you soon. If you have any comments, this is probably going to go on Facebook, so maybe comment there.